This podcast is brought to you by
PPIS, a non-profit organisation committed to support women of all ages navigate their various roles in society, as well as nurturing their families and children.
For more information, visit ppis.sg. Inspiring women, strengthening families. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Outside In with your host Yanto
and Farah, your go-to source for honest conversations about relationships and marriage.
So if you are ready, let's go. Right.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, bila episode ni keluar, tomorrow is
International Women's Day.
You don't
Women's
know.
International Day. Which one?
International Women's Day.
International Women's Day.
I know. Because I love my wife.
Ally.
Yes, I'm an ally.
You're an ally, mashallah. Yeah, so this episode will be on a Friday. And tomorrow will be International Women's Day.
Yeah, so International Women's Day falls on the 8th of March. Yes.
So today we have a very special woman lah with us.
Special, alhamdulillah,
Very
masya-Allah,
special.
tabarakallah.
So I really like our collaboration dengan PPIS because for the fact that a lot of you guys listening are women and you guys are going through phases of life, very challenging challenges lah that you face every day. So this is macam a voice for you guys and also to let you know that you're not alone. Okay, if you ever need support, you can reach out to PPIS.
Let's say kalau korang malu ke, kalau let's say you guys don't know how to take the first step, just DM kita, we will refer you to the necessary lah.
Betul.
Because of course kita dengan PPIS ni dah gini tau.
Alhamdulillah. So today with us
we have Aida and Suhaili from the Family Service Centre East. Betul tak? Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
See, FSCE, Family Service Centre East. Yeah. Maybe before we go deeper, I would like maybe we can get the two of you to actually introduce yourselves.
Okay. Hi. First of all, I would like to thank both of you for having us here today. It's really such an honor to be here at the Outside In podcast.
Yes,
my name is Suhaili. I'm the Assistant Senior Social Worker at PPIS Family Service Centre East.
From what I heard from the conversation that we had just now, the atas Wisma Gelang.
Yes, we are located at the heart of the Malay Muslim community at Gelang Serai.
So lagi in this period of Ramadan, let's say kalau you feeling nak pergi bazar, singgah dulu. For example, you walk in, you say I need some help, lepas tu pergi bazar Ramadan. Boleh.
No problem. Boleh lah.
Yourself lah?
I'm Aida, Center Manager for PPIS FSC East. So we have been in Wisma Gelang Serai since 2019. Before that, we were actually located at Chai Chi.
Okay.
So it's a different kind of community that we are also seeing in Gelang Serai.
How different?
So we have the communities that we are seeing. We have a number of communities who are rough sleepers. We also have transnational marriages.
Wow.
Yeah, elderly. We also seeing a lot of elderly clients actually.
Interesting. So Aida dengan Suhaili ni has been in this industry for very long.
Just now, of course kan, I asked lah how long Suhaili has been inside. So you were in PPIS for the past 10 years.
Yes.
And then for Aida pula, she was saying, before this I was working somewhere else, but I've been with PPIS for 20 years. I was like, mashallah, 20 years.
Mashallah.
So they are very experienced, and if for any of you ladies yang feel that you need to have a voice, you need to talk to someone about something. They are very well versed in what they are doing lah, I'm pretty sure. Inshallah.
So that's why our topic today our topic today is the Superwoman Dilemma.
Yeah.
Right. Breaking free from overwhelm. So we know that women kita wear a lot of hats. Some of us are daughters, we are also sisters, wives, mothers, caretakers perhaps, and we are also macam employees. Or maybe some of us are lady bosses, So the constant need to tukar-tukar ni semua topi can cause a bit of overwhelm lah in your
Overwhelmingness.
Overwhelmingness. My English no good today lah, guys. Sorry. No good today.
Then you might be wondering, then why am I here in this topic lah? Because talking about women, superwoman kan, I man, but then of course as a husband, I myself want to know what are the struggles that naturally women might face that I might not realize as a man or as a husband. So I think it's very important that for you ladies out there, kalau let's say you rasa husband you tak dengar podcast kita pasal dia kata, I tak nak dengar pasal dia semua pasal family, I nak dengar kelakar je. Maybe it's time you abang dengar abang. Macam gitu.
I'm very grateful lah. I have to say I'm very, very grateful. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, that I have a husband, a supportive husband like you, like an ally in my life, because you are my support system, right? So as we are talking about the invisible weight that women have, right? I think I am one of the more fortunate ones to have a husband like Yanto to support me. But that being said, I see the women around me, they have not so fortunate circumstances as me lah. And also just to give and just also talk about our listeners.
So basically, kadang-kadang as a husband, I see my wife, because she's working from home most of the time because she runs outside in lah. So kadang-kadang as a husband, I see her doing her work, but naturally I feel like she's doing a lot more than just doing her work. So macam she's also, I can see that she's trying her best to look after look after me as a husband. Then I'm trying to up you a bit lah. Then at the same time also, she will take breaks just to make sure that I'm okay and things like that. Especially with my recent happenings in my life, kan? She puts aside a significant amount of time just to make sure I'm okay and things like that. I do not know exactly what goes through a woman's mind, when they're going through all this. Like, do they feel like, am I being a good wife?
I think I'm always questioning myself whether I am being a good enough wife for him, because I'm always I can say I'm a workaholic kind of.
Very.
Yeah. And also because outside in is what our livelihood lah basically. So I want to make sure that it works, right? So my attention, my effort goes a lot to outside in. And then that being said, rumah tak terjaga lah, So he is the one to pick up after the house, buat chores and things like that. So, but it's always at the back of my mind. Am I a good enough wife?
I want to ask you a question. If I can ask you a question,
yes, of course.
Because when you were talking about, I do this and I'm doing that, and rumah tak terjaga, do you start to think like, oh no, I'm not doing enough as a wife?
Yeah, that's usually
when
my
that
thought.
Goes through your mind, what happens to you?
Am I right to say that you felt guilty yesterday?
Yeah. When I was doing it, then he was like busy. Then I'm like, and I just wanted to help you lah. But then you said it's okay, so I went back. Yeah, but still feeling like, am I doing enough? Yeah, it's always that thought in my mind.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's the thing that's driving women, is the expectations that's coming from outside. And sometimes it's in our heads tau. The narratives that we carry along with us. Sometimes the voices of our mothers, voices of our grandmothers, voices of our great-grandmothers.
Yeah.
But we carry it along with us. Like women should be doing this. Women should be in the kitchen. Women should be helping husband do this. And that sometimes will peak at our guilt. And then because we're wearing this many hats, then we start to stack all the hats on top of each other. That's where we start to feel overwhelmed.
Wow. Yeah, I can resonate with that a lot because my mother always, I was raised by my mother lah to do certain things, especially in a certain manner, especially in the kitchen, doing chores, make sure the house is clean. Like you said, the voice, my mom, I can hear my mom's voice. You have to do this, have to do that. If you don't do this, then to me lah, it's not my mom saying it, but to me is that I'm not doing good enough as a wife.
I think that building on to what Farah have mentioned, there is this expectation though. I think besides the multiple hats that women are having, they also have this expectation that they need to do everything perfectly. And be everything to everyone. It's fine to have multiple hats. This is something that we can't run away from, especially in this day and age. Like in the past, mothers are just at home, managing the kids, raising the kids and all. But now mothers take a lot of roles, like what you said, ada yang jadi lady boss, managing the kids as a wife, daughter, and caregivers, But then it also comes with this expectation. I need to be perfect in my role as a mom, as a wife, as a mother, and those kind of things. So that kind of, I mean, it can be rewarding definitely. I can imagine that in a woman's brain, they have multiple tabs open.
Yeah.
This. You might be seeing her in the computer typing, but actually her head is also running. Okay, nanti nak masak apa, those kind of things. Although it might be rewarding to be ticking off every single list and close every tab, but it can be very draining lah at the end of the day.
Overwhelming for sure lah. It feels like a therapy session right now.
I just want to touch a bit again about what Aida said just now about having the voices, right? So if I don't know how to word this, but if you could advise me lah, right? Is it wrong for me? Like for example, just now I said macam I used to be someone who is very clean, very systematic, and do things very organized. I don't like mess. But now I have become a slightly different person. So, and then still that voice is still in my head. But at the same time, I have a supporting husband. So I have that leniency to like, for both of us to be okay, this is the new norm now. We are okay with it. Right. So is it, how to say, the guilt? How do I address that guilt?
Aggressive.
Address the
guilt. Yeah.
Aggressively maybe. I like what you said just now because you say, I embrace a new norm. This is how I am now. This is my standard now. You see, the thing with us is in terms of our personality, our character, we are always changing. From 1 minute to the next, from 1 second to the next, we are different people. So different standards will apply.
Right.
So maybe the standards of 5 years ago may not apply right now. You know, but the voices still remain, right? And then the guilt when it comes to, am I not listening to this voice? But I need to listen to this voice. Should I not listen to this voice? And that's why you need to have this conversation either with your support system, if you can, with maybe fellow mothers or fellow wives, and ask them how they deal with the guilt. Because different people deal with it differently. Some people just shout back lah and say, shut up.
Alhamdulillah kita tak shout
Alhamdulillah.
Kita shout cuma pasal tak dengar, tak sayang.
But I think it's important because in a marriage too, you macam Aida said, it's like you evolve every few years, right?
Yep.
If for example during your years where it's just the two of you and then you can manage the house and things like that, but when you have a kid, for example, things will change.
Yeah,
but if
sure.
you are still holding on to that standard of no, I have to maintain the house and everything, that's when you get overwhelmed.
Yeah. Okay, now I have it just popped in my head about what you just said.
Okay.
Because I think just very recently I saw a post on one of those social media platforms. It said something along the lines of, kenapa perempuan yang selalu, why must it always be the woman that makes the change? Why the man can still go out and play or still can go out and fish and things like that, when as the woman is the only one that have to be the mother now?
Interesting.
Is there like an explanation why that women take on this natural responsibility and then the man can like, tak apa yang I main bola dulu nanti balik. But then women can sacrifice her time with her friends, her time and all that.
Sometimes I think it could be a passed down expectation lah, you know, from mothers, like that silent weight that they carry lah, that they need to perform. So this is how maybe society define them as how a successful woman should look like. Yeah, and then coupled with their nurturing punya characters and also macam typically that's the role that they will take lah. But I think although mungkin different family have different ways of doing it and managing this, it's best to communicate and best to talk it out whether this is something that they're comfortable to continue, because sometimes men pun take that route that okay, I think my wife okay steady je, okay lah pergi main bola lah, padahal you know she might be crying inside like I'm overwhelmed at home,
Assuming.
yeah, it's just assuming, right? So I think best to talk it out, because what we see also in the clients that we see in sessions, eventually sometimes this becomes a resentment. You see, you know, I've been the one doing this and that. You ask my husband, he don't know anything about the children's punya schedule. I'm the one who, you know, manage. So best to talk it out and see, is this something that they are comfortable to continue or they want to put a pause to it? Yeah, because definitely for some women, when they carry so much, right, they know that they can't sustain. Yeah, and then when there's the lack of balance, that's where the overwhelm tends to creep in.
I think the resentment, when resentment creeps in, it becomes difficult.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's their choice. It's their choice to pick up what they want to pick up. It's their choice to sacrifice what they are sacrificing. Sacrificing time or sacrificing maybe themselves. But it is their choice. But when you start feeling resentful, and when you don't talk about it, sometimes women tend not to say when they are struggling. Membatu aja, you know, just keep quiet, just do it. To a point where you reach a wall where there's no other way. Then what are you gonna do? Then you break the wall. You know, so sometimes it's because they are quiet, women are quiet, the men take for granted like, okay lah, my wife is okay. I'm just going to go. But sometimes it's more of like, okay, this is my time. After that, you will have your time. Okay. So it actually depends on the relationship that they are having.
Yeah, I think I have a kenalan lah. Like I have seen firsthand how this resentment manifests itself over the years. Like Aida said, dia macam I'm okay, simpan and just go with it, and then at the end at one point of time,
it feels natural for certain maybe for a father to do this, it feels natural for a mother to do the other things. But at the end of the day, every one of us has our own limits. Maybe you can share with us about, you know, some of your cases that or your clients that went through this phase, and then how actually they overcome it as a woman.
I think if I could share a case, I think one of the female clients that I met seems to be struggling in communicating with the husband. Yeah, so I think communication is always an issue lah that they bring up in sessions kan. But I think after having multiple sessions, you know, getting to know her a bit more, then the resentment kan, sebenarnya datang dari at the very beginning when she gave birth, husband was not there. Husband was not there, not in purpose lah, because I think there was some family issues and the husband also need to settle. So the wife was alone in the hospital. So she carried it all the way. Anak dia, I think in the primary school level lah.
Oh, that's many years.
Yes. So then when she talk about it, she cried. It's just the first time talk about it. Then when we asked lah, like, you know, why didn't you share, you know, that kind of thing. Then I thought he would know. That me as a mother, I mean as a wife, kan dia tak nak be there. Cakap, I know at that point of time he was stuck in other situation lah, but macam I think it wasn't discussed, it wasn't talked about. I think husband also didn't acknowledge that, like macam sorry I wasn't there, you know. So she carried that with her lah. Yeah, so I think that this is something like what you all said lah, that it needs to be discussed, it needs to be put up there lah. Cannot assume that my wife was okay. Oh, there's a nurse or there's a doctor, she's in good hands. But nothing beats having your
emotional
own husband being there. Kadang even though your husband may feel that, but I don't do much, I just stand there, you know, like at most I hold your hands, you know, to comfort. Yeah, but the presence matters. Yeah. Similarly, I think kadang some husbands say, I nak tolong but I don't know how to help. I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to, you know, do this and that. But sometimes just being there, your physical presence also matters as much as the emotional presence lah. Yeah,
I think it's very interesting how these clients of yours can articulate how they feel to you, but it's so hard for us to articulate to our own partners. Why is that so? I wonder sometimes.
When you come to see a social worker, you are primed to think that, okay, I'm here to solve my issues. I'm here to pour out my vulnerabilities. But with your husbands or with your spouses, we expect them to know what's on our minds. We expect them to...
I have to agree. Sometimes,
And also maybe the fear of disappointment if the spouse is not giving the response that she needs or she wants.
Yes.
Okay, fear of disappointment. Wow.
If I don't want to be disappointed, I just keep quiet lah.
Wow.
All three of us.
Ada example ke nak share?
No lah.
I'm the guy in the kitchen. She's my sous chef lah, basically. She will only assist me when I ask for help. But even though she knows she knows that I won't ask for help, she will just come like, is there anything I can do? Even though she knows that I can do it. So as a husband pula, I macam, kalau dekat dalam ni dia boleh buat apa So I just look at her. Okay lah, you help me clean the dishes lah. You help me potong the bawang lah. At least she then you can see the light in her face. Macam okay, I help you. Yeah. Then after that, then she okay. That becomes like a teamwork.
Okay, but let's be honest. Let's be transparent here. Sometimes I feel like he is reluctant to ask me for help because of certain times that I reacted.
Ooh.
For example, the suruh. She asked me, Ayang, can you help me? And then I'm like, their reaction. Then that hits very deep inside him to the fact to the point that every time he wants to ask, that thought trigger him. Then he's like, never mind, I do myself. Maybe that time I bad mood ke apa, then I reacted badly, and then sometimes it's good to ask yourself.
Sometimes we make assumptions on the reactions that we see.
Betul.
Yeah.
Betul.
So we make certain stories in our heads. Again, with the stories in the head. When we see the reaction, and if I can just dial back to that conversation that you had, the reaction that you had, it could be just because you're in the middle of something. I'm not justifying. But it could be I'm in the middle of a sentence. Sekarang lah kau nak tanya. You know, it could be that. It's not so much of I don't want to help you lah.
Macam menyusahkan lah. It's not that.
It's not that. But he may take it differently. Like, I don't ask for help. Sekali-sekala I ask for help, you say this to me, you do this to me. Okay lah, I don't ask anymore lah.
Yes, exactly. Good thing I don't know. I know all this.
But it's nice to see how you both are able to notice each other. You know, all this kadang simple reaction, kadang matters lah kan. So sometimes I think in the conversation that we had with be it in our professional or personal setting and with women, they want to be seen. They don't want to be acknowledged of their efforts.
They want to be heard.
They want to be heard. But sometimes they don't get it. Tu yang datang macam, okay lah, you know, I'm not good lah, I'm not good enough, you know, those kind of thing. You can see how they light up when people acknowledge, kau superwoman semua kau boleh buat, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Then if they don't get that from their spouse, right?
Yes.
How do they get that validation from them? Support systems?
I almost said something wrong lah, but
What?
say another man.
Jangan,
brother. No. We listen, we don't judge. No. I'm just kidding.
I understand lah. When you have certain expectations from your partner and then you don't get that validation, you will feel macam resentful lah. So,
and it would add on to the overwhelming feeling that they have. That I already do so much, but then you don't acknowledge me, and then then it makes you question yourself again. Like, am I doing enough? So it becomes a vicious cycle. I feel.
Yes. I think for women who already have their own support system other than husbands, sometimes you know that is a source of validation lah when they talk to their friends and all kan. Bila dengar, you're also going through the same. Oh yeah, you're managing this and that. And some women that I know, they seek validation through social media. Sometimes they see certain posts and I can relate, I like, you know, that kind of thing. It can be good and bad lah. Sometimes this digital age of social media ni,
that's right.
some posts can resonate with you and then you feel you're being seen even though in the digital world. But some could also make you feel even more worse than ever. Am I lacking the validation? And then see, my friend's husband dia belikan hadiah, you know, those kind of things.
Comparing.
This and that. And then, you know, some of the friends, you know, they post about their life seem so perfect. And then meanwhile me, you know, serabai kat rumah, you know, managing kids and all. Yeah, so this could add on to that feeling of overwhelm, feeling that they are alone and struggling.
Right.
Yeah, so I think this is something yang we would want to highlight lah to all these women that it's okay to take break. It's okay not to have it all. Yes, so take things one at a time lah. But sometimes I feel personally macam this is a message yang kita biasa dengar, but it's very hard to
penetrate
to them, to get through them. Especially and I think we were discussing earlier the idea of self-care. We have been hearing self-care here and there.
Healing.
Healing lah. Self-care is not selfish lah. It's overly subscribed, but why is it not reaching? And we are still hearing and seeing women who are overwhelmed, who feel guilty of taking breaks.
Yeah, maybe if you can share a bit about, you know, the clients that you face when they are
Overwhelmed.
when they are overwhelmed kan, like what actually happens to them or what actually happens to the people around them. That's why they come to seek help for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if I can recall conversations that I have with my client. So when they are overwhelmed, they are not able to function and also see another point of view. Because they seem to be stuck in that moment of burnout. So sometimes when we offer a different way of looking at things, they are just not willing or ready to see that because they feel that, okay, I'm just overwhelmed. Sometimes simple questions that, has there been moments where, things, for example, has there been moments where your children are nice to you ataupun listen to what you said? So no lah, they cannot lah, they are like that lah, very difficult, very challenging lah.
Immediately brush away.
Yeah. Okay. So they were not even able to acknowledge the little things. As simple as today the child actually goes to school on time. They can't even acknowledge that because they are so overwhelmed that everything is just so negative around them.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the saddest thing lah we see. Yeah, when they are that level of burnout and exhaustion.
It's the system shutdown that we also see in some cases, some clients where they can't even tend to their children. So especially postpartum and all that and then they experiencing burnout and overwhelmingness. And when they cannot tend to the children, I think it causes a bit of a concern for us lah, because especially when they don't have any support system and they are all alone. So we work very hard to make sure that these women do not feel so alone, that they do have a voice, or they can share their stories or their issues with other people or social workers. Especially
PPIS.
Yes, PPIS.
Yeah, so that not that we can solve the issue, but the burden that they feel will be lesser.
Right.
Yes.
So when you come to talk about validation, come back to the issue of validation, I don't think it's fair to place the expectation solely on your husband. That my husband need to be the one to validate me through and through. I don't think it's fair. Because that's a lot. That's a burden to carry that I don't think a lot of men, even the emotionally aware ones, self-proclaimed, that can be quite a burden to carry. I don't think it's fair. So what's important is to build a community of support. Sometimes you just need a listening ear. Sometimes you need someone to get angry with you. Right?
Yes.
Sometimes you just want someone to cry with. Not all the times you need solutions.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
But then we need to empower ourselves. Women need to empower ourselves so that we know when to ask for what we need. Or how to ask for what we need.
Right. Yeah.
I like.
Oh, you got something?
No, it's
Okay.
okay.
In that continuing from what you said, kind about asking, finding the right time to ask for help and whatnot. Because I feel that naturally, when someone asks for help, it could be seen as a sign of weakness. Could be seen as a sign of I'm not doing enough. I'm not being.
I'm a failure.
I'm a failure. That's why I need help. Because naturally we feel that we see our nenek moyang, they can dia seorang mak kat rumah 12 anak. 10-12 anak. Sekarang aku 2 dah macam gini. That kind of feeling. So is it really a sign of weakness when woman calls out for help?
We don't think so. I don't believe it to be so. And it doesn't mean that you come to see a social worker that means you are problematic or you are weak or you are so pathetic that you need to see social worker. But I think it is difficult. It is difficult, and I have to acknowledge that in the many years that I have been in social service, I see that it takes a lot of courage to step in to see a social worker or a therapist. It takes a lot of courage. I will also encourage my social workers, you need to try. You need to try and seek help and see how it feels like.
For yourself. Yeah.
For yourself. So you know the kind of struggles, the kind of mental struggles that a client goes through before they walk through our doors. It's not easy. And it's easier to just say, I want financial assistance. My husband beat me up. So it's more tangible, you see, and it doesn't feel as raw. But when we sit down with them, we have conversations with them, we unpack their stories, and they feel safer enough, then they can trust the process and trust us to journey with them lah.
Yeah. If I recall, there's this one session when a female client came in. I haven't even start the session proper. Belum start any theories ke kasih word cim-cim ke apa. Just a simple how are you? She broke down for a good 5 minutes because she said nobody have asked me that. Yeah, people tend to assume that I'm doing okay. So that's actually the first time people ask me how am I doing. Yeah, so you can imagine the kind of weight.
Just a simple
question.
How are you?
Oh my God, there was one guy on one of our episodes, so he actually asked me that question. How are you, bro? Oh, I was like, oh my God, what is that?
Tak, dia punya tone. Bro, how are you?
Yeah, and I instantly went, while recording, I was like, mind blown. I mean, my wife never asked me like that. She was just like, are you okay? Maybe if you can like give a bit of hint or rather a preview of what actually goes on in a session when you meet your client.
Nak
Session
sekarang ke?
No, because what actually goes on. For example, I come to you like, Aida, I need help, Aida. You should be the one. You're the lady. I'm man. So PPIS for women.
What you mean?
Yeah, men is
Men
also
don't need
welcome.
help.
Oh yeah, can I?
Men also welcome.
But it's not episode for women.
Okay lah, but men also welcome.
Yes, men also welcome. But that one another thing to say lah. Another episode we should have talk about that because if women hard, men I think harder lah. Agree?
Yep.
Okay, so stay tuned for the episode.
Maybe okay lah. From the top of my head, I have one issue that I think is very deep rooted in me. Maybe we can unpack it.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Sure.
Do I know?
Yes.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I've shared this before, but okay, this is in our session, right? Okay, so I have this knowing feeling in my heart, and it is because we are struggling to trying to conceive, but my mom is already reaching 70. So my age gap with my sisters is huge lah. I macam accidental baby gitu. So one of my fear is my mom living without ever seeing my child being born. Yeah. So and then on top of that, Yan has fertility issues. As much as I want to be there for him as a wife, I also have this lingering feeling macam, what if my mom doesn't get to see my child, but at the same time I love my husband, I don't want to make him feel any less of a man. So I'm like in the middle macam
help.
help gitu.
Yeah.
If I can ask you, what is driving this fear?
Oh, it is my mom a few years ago had a health scare. She had cancer. So
It's in remission now.
but Alhamdulillah, it was only stage 1. Yeah, so we managed to get it under control, and she is in remission right now. And very recently, she had her last appointment with her doctor, and the doctor said, "Macam okay, this is your last. Inshallah, because prior to that, every 3 months she has to follow up appointment lah. But after that, the doctor said, okay, I see you in 2 years time. So, inshallah, alhamdulillah, we are on the right track of recovery. Yes, and also another thing that is driving me the fear is that his condition lah.
What actually goes on in a in a counselling session?
So usually what we would do is ask how your fear, each of your fear is actually impacting how you are interacting with the other person.
Okay.
How it's impacting your relationship with the other person. Or how you are reading the reactions of the other person. Because sometimes we are responding to the reactions.
Okay,
We are responding to the responses of our spouses without actually hearing what they say.
Right.
Yeah, so in the counselling session, we try to break down the barriers of not hearing what each other is saying and looking at how you can communicate with each other with regards to your fear. Because it's very deep-seated fear for both of you. Right? And if you want to go deeper, it's something that is tied to your relationship with your mom. It's something that is tied to your relationship with legacy even. So it is ada banyak expectations, you know, that comes with the fear. So sometimes what we also do is we will have conversations separately with regards to how to unpack this fear with individually. And then we come together to talk about how you can also support each other.
I think we should sign up for it. I mean, as much as we are conversing and things like that.
I think Alhamdulillah lah, you don't feel any macam negativity from me, right?
Are you sure? I'm just kidding.
You sure not?
I'm kidding.
Okay.
This for clickbait.
We listen but we don't judge.
Yes. That's our work lah. We listen, we don't judge.
We will cross the bridge.
When the time comes lah.
Yeah. All my deep-rooted issues are macam I push it aside first lah, because this is my priority. Your well-being is my priority.
Thank you.
So insyaAllah you can feel that from me lah, to feel that support from me.
Of course.
You sure?
Alhamdulillah.
Oh my God.
Threatened by you. Shut up.
I feel it. After that the usual came.
Terus macam ni betul kan tak sincere ni. Alhamdulillah. But I think I feel that, you know, when it comes to empowering women especially, because I feel that naturally the fear of tak nak buka aib, you know, when it comes to sharing issues with outsiders per se.
Aib is such a huge thing in our community.
Yes.
Which makes it even more difficult to address issues that is deep rooted, like you mentioned just now. Macam nanti kalau cakap kalau I cakap macam ni, nanti orang fikir lelaki macam ni, you know. But I feel naturally, and not naturally but professionally, as you know, social workers, you know, that you all under PDPA. Yeah. What is PDPA? Personal Data Protection Act.
Wah, betul.
I also
Besides the PDPA, also when client first came to our doors, we assure them that this is a safe space lah, that they can share whatever that they are ready and comfortable with. Because sometimes we can see, like what just now Aida mentioned, they come, okay, I need financial help. It's always the easiest thing to put across the table lah. But then you notice that after a while they kind of know how we are ask, the kind of questions that we ask them, you know, when they feel more safe. Towards the end of the session, actually kan puan, sebenarnya this happened. They drop the bomb at the very last minute.
Just the underlying issue.
Yes, the underlying issues that give you the okay, right. Yeah. So I mean even after doing that pun kita tak adalah judge dorang ataupun saya cakap like why what, we don't question the why, but we question that how is it impacting them and what kind of support they need, you know, when they come here, you know, with all these worries that they have.
Like if we are struggling to do it alone, then we need to realize lah and acknowledge that perhaps I need to reach out to someone. Kalau really you don't have like a supportive, like a support
why
system.
you like supportive?
Tak, support system.
I think I would like to say that there is no shame in
No
asking
shame.
for help.
And like we addressed just now lah, you coming forward takes a lot of bravery, a lot of courage. So don't think that you are weak. You know, reaching out for help doesn't mean that you are weak. It is your first step to being better, insyaAllah.
Maybe before we wrap up our episode today, it's been an amazing episode.
No, I don't want to end.
Kan? Yeah, but I feel that we need to we need to even know more what PPIS does in supporting women of Singapore, especially because on top of, you know, you can just walk in or make appointments to see our PPIS social worker. What actually PPIS does, especially in the family service centres.
Within our family service centres, we actually work very closely with other agencies, other organisations as well. Like the hospitals or the clinics, the active aging centres. So we make sure that when we are working with these partners, we are building a community of support.
That's nice.
So it can be either for women or for the families that we are meeting.
Then maybe perhaps are there, especially with like now is bulan Ramadan, so maybe how's the activities like for the FSCEs? Like are there any things that maybe not during this Ramadan but upcoming for, you know, our listeners that they say they macam like, oh, I want to be part of something that PPIS is doing, maybe like an activity ke, program ke, event ke. If there is also, I also want to go down. We also go lah.
We are actually having an iftar event coming up
Yep.
Okay.
And we're inviting the elderlies around the Hague Road region.
Will I cry? I might.
We may need volunteers to
Yeah.
Volunteers.
help us.
Volunteers.
Okay, why not? Why not?
Why not? Why
Inshallah,
not?
inshallah. This one we'll discuss
If you
off cast. Then maybe we will, if let's say it happens, we can definitely post on our socials and get a group of us, of all
Look for
insiders. We
volunteers.
go together. We
Oh,
volunteer
that'd be
together.
nice.
Kan?
So be nice.
Then you all will see me. Yeah.
Suap dia.
So nenek.
Yeah, we actually have a
Yeah.
lot of elderlies living alone.
Oh, I cannot. Oh, no, I cannot.
Sure.
I very sedih. Oh no.
Okay, tak nak ambil.
No. I tahan all the way. No. To find out more, you can always go to ppis.sg where you can, see whatever that is upcoming.
Yeah.
What are the services that PPIS has to offer, because
Betul.
they have a wide range. Not just for women, for men as well, for families, for children, for elderly.
Yes.
All of that
Yeah.
under PPIS,
I
inshallah.
would like to thank Suhaili and also
Aida.
Aida for coming
Thank you.
today. Thank you for
Both of
everything
you
that you
also.
shared today.
This
Hopefully,
is such a nice
it's a
episode.
beneficial
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you for having us.
Of course,
Alhamdulillah. We are always happy to have you guys.
Yeah.
So kalau korang nak tahu lebih, you can just go to ppis.sg.
Yeah, say the tagline together. Come on.
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3.
Inspiring women, strengthening families. We've come to the end of another episode of Outside In.
Oh, if you like what you hear, please follow us on all our socials: TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yeah, don't forget to follow ppis.sg on all of their socials and share it with all of your friends and family members so that they can benefit also from this episode, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Till next time, Assalamualaikum.
Salam.